We all go into first dates hoping for a connection, a spark, maybe just a good story. My last Tinder date gave me a story, all right, but it wasn't about romance. It was a masterclass in how you can become an unwilling accessory to someone else's dangerous obsession, without even realizing you're holding the door open for them. It all started with a super like. In the world of online dating, that's supposed to be a big compliment, right? Someone is so interested in you, they use their one special like for the day. Her name was Ka. Let's call her Chloe. Her profile was pretty normal cute photos, a witty bio, nothing that screamed danger. We matched. She messaged first and was incredibly engaging. She suggested we meet up for a casual walk in a park halfway between us. It felt safe, low pressure, perfect for a first meet. So, I agreed. The first 15-20 minutes were great. The conversation flowed easily. We talked about our jobs, our hobbies, the usual first date stuff. It felt comfortable. I was thinking, hey, this is actually going really well. And then I made the mistake that turned the entire evening on its head. She asked the classic question, so, do you live alone or with roommates? I answered honestly, yeah, I live with a few guys, Max, Matt, and Mark. The moment I said the name Mark, her entire demeanor changed. She physically stopped walking on the path, her eyes widened, and she leaned in with this sudden, unnerving intensity. Wait, she said, her voice sharp. Mark, as in Mark Smith. The one who went to Westlake High? My stomach did a little flip.
Oh, that was him.
Oh, wow. Small world, she exclaimed, but her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. I know him. From that second forward, I was no longer on a date. I was a source of intel. The person I thought I was connecting with vanished, replaced by a relentless investigator. The rest of the walk was a one-sided interrogation disguised as a conversation. Every single question was about Mark. What's he like to live with? Does he still play volleyball on Tuesdays? What kind of car does he drive now? I tried multiple times to steer the conversation back to literally anything else. I'd say, so, this is a really nice park. Do you come here often? And she'd respond, yeah, it's great. But does Mark still go to that 24-hour fitness on Elm Street? It was exhausting. She wasn't just asking questions. She was gushing. She knew his sister's name, where his parents lived, his gym schedule from over a year ago. She'd sigh and say things like, he just always smells so amazing. It was surreal. I was trapped, walking through a park with a woman who was delivering a 2-hour fan monologue about my roommate, and I was her only audience. I felt a strange mix of being incredibly bored and deeply, deeply uncomfortable. The initial spark was long gone, replaced by a growing sense of dread. As we walked back towards our cars, the date from hell took another bizarre turn. Her intense, interrogative persona melted away, and she became flirtatious again. She touched my arm, looked at me with what I guess was supposed to be a suggestive smile, and said, so, your place isn't too far from here, right? Maybe we could go back and ... hang out. That was the final, blaring red flag. The thought of her knowing where I lived, of her being in the same space as Mark, made my skin crawl. Every alarm bell in my head was screaming. I immediately fumbled for an excuse. I can't tonight. Have an early morning meeting I completely forgot about. It was a lame excuse, but it was all I could think of. I practically jogged to my car, got in, and drove away as fast as I could without looking like a complete maniac. I just needed to get away from her. When I got home, the whole thing felt so absurd that I had to tell someone. I found Mark in the living room and started recounting the story, laughing about this crazy Tinder date I'd just been on. Dude, you won't believe this girl. She was obsessed with you. I told him about the questions, the weird details she knew, her creepy comments. As I was telling the story, I noticed Mark's expression change. He went from amused to confused, and then to stone-cold serious in a matter of seconds. He went completely pale. When I mentioned her name, Chloe, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. He just whispered, "Oh my God." Then he picked up his phone, his hands shaking slightly, and called the police. I was completely stunned. "What are you doing?" It was just a weird date. But Mark was already talking to the dispatcher. "Yes, I need to report a violation of a restraining order." It turned out Mark had gone on one single date with this woman almost a year ago. After that one date, she had started harassing and stalking him relentlessly. He'd had to get a restraining order against her. The police arrived within minutes. First, they just took a statement, but then one of the officers decided to do a quick sweep of the property. And that's when they found her. She was hiding in the bushes in our backyard, waiting for me to leave or for Mark to come outside. The pieces all clicked into place with horrifying clarity. The super-like wasn't about me. She had recognized the background of my apartment in one of my dating profile photos. She recognized it as Mark's building. The date, the walk, asking about my roommate's sit was all a calculated plan to confirm his address and get an update on his life. I wasn't on a date. I was being used as a tool in her stalking campaign. After the police took her away, Mark and I just sat there in silence for a while. The whole thing was terrifying. The scariest part was how calculated she was. So super-like. To get my attention, messaging first to seem keen, suggesting a casual walk so it wouldn't seem suspicious. It was all a trap designed to get close to him, and I had been the easiest, most unsuspecting path. I had walked right into it, just trying to be a nice guy on a first date. This whole experience forces a really tough question that I've been wrestling with ever since. In this world of modern dating, where we meet total strangers from the internet, how much suspicion is just smart due diligence, and how much is paranoia? Should I have ended the date the second she became fixated on my roommate? Was I just being polite to a fault, putting my desire not to be rude above my own gut feeling? Or was I simply a victim of expert manipulation, where anyone would have made the same mistake? This story isn't just about one bad date that went horribly wrong. It's a chilling reminder of how predators can use our most basic social norms, politeness, the desire for connection, giving someone the benefit of the doubts as weapons against us. It seriously challenges the idea that being nice and seeing a date through to the end is always the right or safe thing to do. So I have to ask, was I wrong to endure that awkward date, or was I just a pawn in a game I didn't even know I was playing? We all have to draw a line somewhere between caution and judgment every single day. Have you ever ignored a strong gut feeling just to be polite? Where do you draw that line? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear your verdict on this and other modern dilemmas. If you find these kinds of real-life moral crossroads fascinating, subscribe to The Verdict Zone and help us deliver a judgment. When does giving someone the benefit of the doubt become compromising your own safety or the safety of others? Should you always trust your gut, even if it means being rude? You decide. Thanks for watching.